Hey, and welcome to the Dad FC Football Podcast. You are here on YouTube, you are here on the pod, you are here on Instagram, you are maybe here on TikTok, Jan.
TikTok, yeah,
Where
TikTok.
Where else can we be found?
Twitter. Can't really see the videos on Twitter, but we're on Twitter.
Yanis is now Twitter famous for anyone who hasn't been on.
1,700 likes. That's what I got. That's what I got.
80,000 impressions. Yanis going viral.
Yeah, viral. Yeah.
How's the week been, man?
Yes, good, busy week and then sort of fairly quiet weekend. Out to see my brother's wee ones, and then just a chill one on Sunday. I'll tell you what I did do actually.
Go on.
We bought
besides going viral, what else did you do?
What else did I do? We bought a new TV for our bedroom, and I got a tape measure out and we measured, and we bought. I was like measuring the walls, like that's what 32-inch will be. A 32-inch, and we measured. Mrs. was like, yeah, sound, that'll be sound. Bought it, put it on the wall. 32-inch now is like having like your phone on the wall. Honestly. Yeah, like that's maybe about 28, that is it? Sure.
Yeah, and it's just a small one in the bar.
But yeah. I'm like, 32-inch was like, and that in my head I was like, nah, I was sitting there, I was like, no, okay, like it's 32 inches, a decent sized TV. Like that's what we used to have in the front room years ago.
Yeah, back in the day.
But now, honestly.
Back in the day, it was 32 inches deep, 32 inches wide. Do you remember the old school corner tellies?
I was telling my mate that the TV we had in the dining room in my old house when I was growing up was my granddad's TV when he moved in with us when he wasn't well, and the TV had like the panel with with 4 buttons on the side, and the remote had to be put in, and it could press the button, it would pop back out, and he could sit down with the remote and press 1 to 4. That was my granddad's old TV. Wow. Proper wooden old thing, like actually genuinely it had like wooden on the outside, and
that's when like wooden was like fashionable to have like.
That's probably posh, that.
Posh telly, yeah. And absolute mare this morning. So I went to swimming today before I went to the office, and was getting changed to go to the office, and I realised I forgot my shoes, like my office shoes. So I'm like, right, I'll have to get a trip to the Slater's just near the office to get some shoes beforehand. So as I'm getting ready, I'm like, right, I need to rush a little bit because I'm obviously need to find this time to go and buy shoes because I cannot walk in, run a meeting in a suit and a pair of Adidas trainers. So as I'm rushing, I put my shirt on and my elbow goes through my shirt. So I'm like, right, okay, I'll put my suit jacket on, put my trousers on, and at least no one will see the tear. I can still go and get some shoes and it'll be sound. So I picked my suit out of the locker, and I realised that my suit trousers must have fell off at some point in the house. So I'm stood in the locker room with a suit jacket, a waistcoat, a shirt with a tear and a pair of shorts. So I come tearing into Slater's in Newcastle, like, I've got to run a meeting in 15 minutes. New suit shirt.
Kick me out.
Yeah, but yeah, so that was my Monday morning.
Class.
Anyway, there's loads of football happening.
Loads, yeah.
People don't want to hear our stories, so let's go on with the pod.
Let's do it.
Okay, so if you're joining us on YouTube, make sure you press that subscribe button. If you're on the pod cast, make sure you jump on YouTube as well, subscribe, because we want to do some lives as well. But we want to get up the first 50 subscribers and to start putting some lives out there, so we will catch you on YouTube even more. Anyway, let's get straight into it, Jan. Where do you want to start, mate? Since you're the viral superstar on Twitter, where do you want to go, mate?
I think we've got to start Man City, haven't we?
Yeah, agreed.
Got to.
So City's come into this with 43 points out of 45. Phenomenal record.
What is that? Really?
15 games unbeaten.
That is nuts, that, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Tottenham's coming into this game with 3 losses on the bounce. Hadn't lost 4 since 2005, I think it was, 4 or 5.
I think, wasn't it, Conte had never lost 4?
Mm-hmm. So
as a manager, I think.
So there was some records that could potentially be broken here, and going on form, there was only going to be 1 winner.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I love this because it was there's like 3 bits I like of this game is the fact that title race is back on now.
Yeah.
Top 4 race is also like Steve is throwing a hat in the ring against Spurs because everyone was that. I thought it was like there's no danger they were getting there, and Harry Kane remembers how to play football again.
Yeah.
So how good was Harry Kane, by the way?
He needed that performance just to remind everybody how good he is.
Yeah.
And I think Alan Shearer gave him one of the biggest praises on Match of the Day when he said it's one of the best strikers' performances he's ever seen. Or was it the
unbelievable
strikers' performance of the season? Like, it was incredible, unplayable.
We said last week that that Spurs had relied on Son and Kane being like really, really efficient when they get opportunities to take pretty much every chance they get.
And they've just levelled the record, haven't they?
Yeah. So they've got 36 now, but this season they haven't been efficient. They've missed opportunities. They've had chances. Whereas that was like, you know what it was? That was textbook Mourinho Spurs. That's what I loved about that. That's basically how when the Spurs played well under Mourinho, that's what they did. They soaked up pressure and played on the break, and just like the pace, the runners off of Kane. It's
so bizarre that Tottenham went into this with a game plan of let's sit back, soak up some pressure, and go. When the previous game they were so bad at defending. I know they completely changed the defensive unit, shall we say?
Eric Dyer was back, wasn't he? As well. Romero.
He's huge for them at the back.
Yeah, the numbers are nuts. Like without him, they hadn't won all season. With him, like they haven't lost all season or something bizarre like that. Which is he's not Van Dijk.
Yeah, and
he's just a good player.
But then he was a makeshift centre half for a bit, and all of a sudden now he's like the centre.
Because he was a centre midfielder, wasn't
he? Yeah. So City, they seem to keep getting caught by playing such a high line.
Yeah.
Kind of Son's pretty rapid, so he's going to get behind any defence.
Kulusevski's not slow neither, is he?
But it just I didn't look. We can't really question Pep's tactics because we were talking last week where he's going on breaking so many leagues after league because he just destroys all the teams. So we can't really pull Pep apart with his tactics. But it just seemed odd that we just kept that high line because that was clearly there.
I think they're always going to play that high line because they want to squeeze. They want to squeeze the sort of the opposition into recycling the ball really quickly. If they play deeper, if they were 10 yards off the halfway line, there'd be space when the ball was won. There'd be space for Kane operating. The thing was, Kane just when he had no space was just still immaculate in it. Yeah. The first goal, that was like unbelievable from Kane. That the one touch and then the slide, like the was a left footed through ball to put Son in. It's just so efficient. When every time he got the ball, he was just exquisite with it every time he got it. So I think City will always play that high line because they want to squeeze teams. It's just the caught Kane playing just out of this world, and obviously backed up by Son and Kulusevski. Yeah,
and then when it came to the end of the game when Mario scored the penalty.
Yeah.
Who gave away the penalty again? There was a handball.
Romero, wasn't it?
Was Romero?
Yeah.
Because he was already on a yellow card. That's what Pep was going nuts for. Should have been a second yellow.
Nah, not from. I don't think so. Like he's just throwing himself at the ball. His arms like he's throwing himself at the ball. You're not going to think about where your arms are going when you're throwing yourself at the ball to block it.
So would you give a penalty then?
I give a penalty. Yeah, it's a pen, but I don't think it's a. You can't book people for the ball hitting you accidentally. Just the fact it's hit your hand. I don't think so. I don't think it's a good thing.
If he wasn't on a yellow card, would it have been a yellow card?
Maybe. I mean, if Craig Pawson, the fourth official, had anything to do with it, he'd been sent off at half time, wouldn't he? To see Craig Pawson at the end when Kane scored the winner. Craig Pawson was the fourth official. It's been all over Twitter, and he's like, it's only like a 5-second clip, but in the clip he's like throws his head back and he's as if he's gutted, and he's the fourth official. So also the referee that didn't give the Edison foul on Ryan Fraser.
Is it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Conspiracy theorists on football or all over it on Twitter, but yeah, I don't think it's much in it really. I just think it's just a reaction.
Yeah, Twitter, you can lose a weekend in Twitter. There's so much
the depths of Twitter.
The cesspits of Twitter.
The NUFC hashtag on Twitter is just like sometimes it used to be when it was Bruce. It used to be absolutely horrific to be there on like a Sunday morning or like a Saturday evening. It was awful to be. Anyway, back to City. I think Spurs were brilliant. I think they throws their hat back in the ring for the top four.
Yeah.
And it means that Man City are 6 points ahead of Liverpool, with having played a game more.
Yeah.
And Liverpool go to the Etihad soon, don't they?
Yeah. So Liverpool play Leeds midweek, and then I'm not sure exactly what game week, but yeah, Liverpool.
So it's coming up. It's relatively soon.
The City game, I'm not sure the City one. Leeds is this game in hand.
Oh, so, okay, right, okay.
Yeah, so it'll give you an idea. It's a must-win for Liverpool, that.
Yeah, they'll battle Leeds.
Put them within 3. But yeah, interesting. A few weeks ago, you were like, the Premier League's broken.
I know.
The title race is off. Put the blue ribbons on now.
I think it's because City have been recently playing before Liverpool, so they've kept going to 12 points, and then Liverpool win again. So in my head, I've been thinking, they're miles ahead. But in actual fact, it's only ever been 9 points because Liverpool have always been winning those games as well. So now, when they've got a game in hand, and to play them yet, it only takes one defeat, which is what they had. Liverpool still have to be basically perfect at the end of the season, though.
Yeah, 100%.
Including going to Etihad and winning.
Which I was going to say is a hard job, but Tottenham's just given the blueprint.
Well, that's always the blueprint, isn't it? It's like that was.
Are Liverpool gonna? They're not going to sit back. It's going to.
Nah, they're going to squeeze and press and be all over them, and they're going to challenge City to play out.
That game is going to be like
I
a
love
basketball
those games,
game,
by the way. I like them more. And they've been a bit cagey, haven't they? Recently, last couple haven't been that sort of. But I do love the Liverpool City. It's the new derby, isn't it? Of like, it's the new big game, isn't it? So it's good. But anything else to say on that, mate?
No, not really. I think we've covered all the points there. Yeah, happy. Nice intro to Liverpool.
Yeah.
Liverpool 70% possession, 29 shots, but somehow managed to go behind to Norwich. And when the game was being played live, I took Jack and the dog for a walk, and I've triple captained Salah this week. So I just checked my phone to see how many points like Salah was on, and then the shock, like even like my wife was like, "What's wrong?" Like Norwich are winning, which means absolutely nothing to her. I could have been talking Swahili, but I'm like, what on earth are Norwich doing winning?
They were good for it as well, by the way. I thought actually, funny enough, I didn't think Norwich played that badly. I think they're looking like an improved side. Like they actually did create some chances. It's funny that there's a lot of depth now in Liverpool's side. Like Salah, Mane, Bobby, Diaz, Origi, Jota, all decent players playing that. Those can all basically play anywhere across those front three.
Turn into Man City.
Yeah, they've got some depth, and they've got Simicast, Minamino, obviously you got him as well. But Simicast seems a really good understudy to Robertson. The one player that has like an unenviable task is Gomez, coming in to replace Trent when he's really a centre half. Gomez, every time we got the ball, like in wide areas where Trent would be putting on a sixpence, he's like humping it into the back stick and just like floating one up.
I know,
I did feel a bit sorry for him. Like last time he got barged off the ball and he was on his backside, I just thought he doesn't want to be playing right, but he wants to play alongside Van Dijk, centre half.
Yeah,
nice and easy.
None of this like get up and down.
None of the pressure of having to whip the balls in like Trent does, and so. But for all, Norwich look good. Liverpool are just class, aren't they? They just turned it on with a few subs.
The Mane goal.
What's Mane goal?
Like the overhead kick where came over his shoulder.
Good goal.
Good goal there. There's even some pundits were ripping into Norwich saying like, where was the marking? And I thought it was a little bit harsh on Norwich because they lasted to what was it 50 or 60 minutes.
Yeah.
And them front three were just switching the channels that they were coming on the whole time, like, and that's probably the difference.
It was the subs, wasn't it? The subs because they didn't. Liverpool
Mane started.
But it was the game changed when they brought Thiago on and they brought Diaz on, didn't they? When they took Bobby Firmino off and brought Diaz on, that change, I think, the extra pace. He looks like he's going to fit right in there, like Diaz.
Yeah, I thought that Mane finish was
class, and then Salah goes and scores one from like just pulls with Alisson.
Like, Alisson got the assist then.
Went out of the air, then just sells a dummy and just rolls it in the bottom corner, and still ends up being a great goal. And then Diaz scored a good goal as well.
Yeah, so Liverpool 3, Norwich 1, and overall it was definitely a fair result. But you're right, Dean Smith does have Norwich playing better. Is it going to be enough to get him out?
Well, get on to the relegation teams in a bit, but they're all kind of staking a bit of a claim to sort of survive, aren't they?
Yeah, but we'll leave the relegation banter to the end. One of the best games which I enjoyed watching, it was just like old school. It was like the pitch was almost waterlogged. There was the yellow cards count was like ridiculous. I think like there's 9 yellow cards. It was Leeds 2, Man United 4,
and there probably could have been about 3 more cards.
Yeah,
there were some tackles absolutely flying in. It was such a throwback game. It was brilliant.
It was class when that was like early Premier League stuff. This was like when I grew up watching football. These were the tackles where you like cheered for like the crunching ones. But yeah, it was great.
When the old days of Leeds and Alan Smiths and Hearts and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, it was a really good game. And then Leeds coming back and scoring 2 in
Like what's it, a minute
10
or something?
seconds or something.
Yeah.
Like.
That was like so Man United.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? It was just a brilliant game. It was very Man United and very Leeds. They can both score goals and both concede loads of goals, so it kind of makes sense.
Defense optional.
Yeah, absolutely. So
I love that stat that they keep bringing up every time Man United get a corner. It was like 139 corners, no goals, and they were talking about it as the ball got whipped in, and finally Harry Maguire scored. And you must be thinking, finally we can take that stat off.
Yeah.
Every single game it's coming up. But yeah, that's the first goal from a corner.
Do you think that's been? Do you think that praise on them when the ball's getting whipped in and stuff? Or do you think
they're going to be aware of it, aren't they? Because teams are known for being threatening from set pieces, and if you get to February and you haven't scored from a corner, it's got to be thinking about it. Because even like a centre half goes up for a corner, like a centre half gets 1 or 2 goals a season just from, like even Lascelles has scored with his head a few times.
Yeah. Think of the old, what would Bruce be saying now with his 19 goals or whatever he got on centre half back in the 90s. Do you think there's what do you think the reason for that is? Like West Ham score a load from corners and free kicks, set pieces. Leicester concede a bunch when they've done like zonal marking, they've done the man for man marking. Man U have obviously scored 1.
It's got to come down to just being drilled to know your position, isn't it? Or like
defensively,
yeah,
and like put a desire to like attack the ball properly. Because
you see the grit. I don't want to mention that in the West Ham one now, but you see like when the players are making the runs, you can see they know where they want to go. Whereas I think sometimes when you watch the teams which aren't, they look like rabbits caught in the headlights still sometimes and just don't react and seem slow. So it's got to come down to on the training ground shooting, isn't it? Being drilled over and over again, like this is your man, like.
And then I think West Ham probably helps with line of the giants in it. You've got like Dawson, Rice, Souček. Any of the centre halves are all massive. Antonio's probably 6 foot odd. So
probably.
Right, looks it.
Just adding a few inches on it.
6'5", 7 foot maybe.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to that. Yeah, I think it was good to see for the Premier League. It was good to see Fernandes sort of playing well in.
Yeah, I thought Bruno was more like a captain on the day than Harry Maguire. Like he was getting involved, like trying to calm players down. Yeah. And because again, it was an old Man United Leeds clash where there was lots of pushing and shoving and crowded players, and I don't know. I just felt like Fernandes was acting more like a captain than Harry Maguire was. And is that because Harry Maguire's lacking confidence or what? I'm not sure.
I don't know. He doesn't seem like the kind of vocal type anyway, does he? He doesn't seem like the.
But a club like Man United, you expect any team that's in the top 4, 5, 6 teams to have a multiple leaders on the pitch.
Yeah. Fernandes would go down as like a leader, I guess, usually by his performance example. I think where he lacks is probably that off the ball graft and stuff.
Yeah. But there's a few times I saw him tracking back, like he put a head down, track back, and I thought that's the stuff which Man United lacked, and this made me think: has Man United had sort of like a sit down with everyone, like, look, play your cards on the table, what's going on, how's everyone feeling?
Yeah.
Obviously everyone's feeling pretty crappy. And when I saw him tracking back, especially Fernandes, I thought, I haven't seen that from Man United really all season.
Enough, yeah.
I know it's Leeds which aren't really a team in form right now, but it was just the way Man United won in a game where it was absolutely lashing down. Like Leeds love getting physical, and it just looked like the type of game where Man United, with some of their past performances, probably should have lost.
Yeah, when they went to 2-2, that would have quite easily been
like 4-2 Leeds.
4-2 Leeds, or like a finish 2-2, or Leeds sneak it later on quite easily. Because you could see Man United crumbling, especially when they've given away, I think last week we said in the pod, they've given away like 5 or 6 of the last like 7 games or something from winning positions, including 2-0 against Villa, which they ended up drawing 2-2, didn't they?
But so is this where Leeds and Bielsa need to give their heads a shake and say, look, we're getting dragged further into a relegation battle. Let's like hold up, pay Man United some respect, not get drawn into the atmosphere, because the crowd were going bonkers. And we're going for the win,
weren't they?
Yeah, like
it was absolutely jumping, wasn't it? That second goal winning, it was absolutely jumping.
But maybe it's time to say, look, let's play for a point. If there's a mistake, come.
I can see Bielsa getting. I can see the club and Bielsa parting ways at the end of the season, mate. If they're still in the Premier League.
Yeah. It just at some points where the game was at the end, they were just so open.
Yeah.
And I know it's how Leeds play. Like if anybody watches football, you'll know Leeds do for the man for man, literally all over the pitch, and it's
one massive 5-a-side game.
Yeah, it's 100 mile an hour or nothing. But come on, like.
But they always tend to lose, except from like the first surprise games of like last season when they were new to the Premier League. But even then, didn't they play Liverpool first game of last season, and they had scored a few goals and then they got turned over in the end?
Yeah.
In the end, teams with a better quality who can utilise the space and utilise when the centre half's gone making a run to right wing or whatever, and the better players can utilise those spaces. They always lose, like they generally do. Like they always get beaten by the sides that can have the guile and the quality of player to pick off. And
second season syndrome, isn't it? They're getting found out how to play against them.
And injuries. They are. He's still missing a few players. And second season syndrome in terms of people not understanding how to play against them. And if you just have some sort of shape and you don't get drawn into the let's just make a basketball game. If you don't get drawn into that and you try and keep a little bit of shape yourself and just have a little bit of sense and not just think, right, let's all go bomb forward now because Leeds have done it. And you utilise a bit of space. Well, I think teams should beat Leeds.
For the neutral, that was a great game to watch.
Yeah, they make every game class. It's great.
Was a class game to watch. But even I'm thinking, the centre half's like bombing down the channel. I'm like, what on earth are you doing? And the camera's down there, but you just know the space there. Like, so every Man United player is going to be thinking, get the ball down there. There's a man missing. And how can Bielsa or any of the coaches like, this is class, crack on, like, unless they score or the ball goes out, there's a huge gap for us to.
Didn't I think Lacazette probably did it the best for against Arsenal a few weeks ago, where he just basically just drifted around with and took the centre halves out, and then people went in the space behind. It was just like textbook stuff, really. Yeah. Drag a centre half out, somebody goes into vacated space. And I do think the better quality sides will pull Leeds apart. But again, they are missing like a lot of their key players.
Key players, but that's a part of football injury. But if you saw them like try to hold shape and get beat, then you can see, look, at least they tried to adapt to it. But it's just like
it'd be stubborn as out, Bielsa, any. Mm-hmm. But it had everything that game. Had obviously all the bookings. I could have had so many more tackles. I was like, oh, is he going to blow it? It was just like he just let so much go. It was brilliant.
But that was good because I liked the fact he let the game have a bit of passion and wasn't
was great.
Yeah,
and even had the absolute honking goal from Firpo when he's like tries to cross it in, like swings it to the top bag.
Oh, Rodrigo's.
Was it? Oh, it was Rodrigo. Yeah, it was funny. Yeah, he tries to cross it in and just loops over to here. I was like, it's got everything in this game.
And then Rafinha, he went out of his way to make sure he got involved and get a yellow card.
I know, yeah. After he came off the bench, and was it half time? Was it?
Yeah, because he was on my fantasy football team. Like, how is Rafinha not playing?
Yeah,
but yeah, because you dropped us a voice note saying about Rafinha like getting involved and
he ran about like 20 yards to get involved. Get his booking. But all in all, quality game, and also much like Spurs, keeps Man United banging the hunt for the top four.
Yeah, great game. Top four, keeping the theme.
Yeah.
West Ham 1, Newcastle 1. So Mr. Viral, Mr. Twitter, I'll let you take the lead on this, mate, because your tweet about this game was seen by over 80,000 people.
Yeah. So my tweet was just about the fact that this is the third game now where pundits have said that teams Newcastle have played have been flat and haven't played Everton, Villa, West Ham, all been flat. But I just think more credit should go to Eddie Howe and how he set the team up, like the energy at Newcastle midfield. I thought Newcastle I would have absolutely taken a point at the start of the game as a Newcastle fan. I think they well merited that point.
I think you can back that up by saying they've gone into that, which West Ham away.
We never go to London well, do we?
No, never go to London very well. The fact West Ham are a team which are pushing for the top four, they're not in the greatest of form, but they should really be dominating a team like Newcastle. Maximin's out, Wilson's out, Wood's not scoring goals, Trippier's
out. Yeah.
Trippier was out. So on paper they should have pulled us apart, but that just shows you that's coaching.
Yeah.
Because you didn't miss Maximum. Murphy did a decent job. The only he hasn't got seem to have a cross on the end of him, but everything else seems decent with him.
The only difference with Murphy is that he doesn't occupy 2-3 players when he gets the ball. So whereas Maximum does, although he does pass it when he gets it, which Maximum doesn't. So
yeah, his pass button's definitely broken, isn't it?
But I think the West Ham they were made to look flat by Newcastle, but the energy, the Shelvey, Willock, Joelinton combination in the middle of the park is those two. I mean, I didn't.
Three.
Sorry, yeah, I was going to say those two around Shelvey are a perfect foil for Shelvey's like lack of legs. But we've seen it for as a Newcastle fan for literally years. I don't understand how we can play two when Shelvey's one of them. He just hasn't got the legs. But look, the energy that Joelinton and Willock have really provides a lot of the cover support for Shelvey. But
sorry, go.
I was going to say for me, I think Antonio's the big issue at West Ham.
Yeah, I've got he scored 2 in the last 17.
So we spoke of last week saying he looks spent, and he looks more spent now. Like they really should have just. We said it last week. They should have got the transfer market and brought somebody in, just some cover. Could have gone to the Championship and picked somebody up, just somebody who can another body, because he just looks like he's got 2 left feet at the minute. Like nothing is coming off touch. Like there was some of his passes into him when he's people are saying Chris Wood can't. He's not holding the ball up particularly where he's got to do better. Some of Antonio's hold up play was absolutely awful. Mm-hmm. There was one where he got the ball and it was a simple pass out. I think was it to Fornells maybe or it's out wide, and he just like shanks it into like Shelvey's feet, and it just looks like he could do with a run of games out the team. Like for me,
I agree. And there was one of the pods I was listening to where they mentioned this Weghorst, who's been signed by Burnley.
I said it was me that said it last week. But I did say that last week about West Ham. They could have bought Weghorst.
But yeah, there's a few more. I was going to get that. That's just trying to get me lips around his name there. But yeah, a striker like that, he's not going to improve the team. I almost feel like David Moyes was looking for a striker which would improve the team.
Maybe, yeah.
Whereas sometimes you just need that guy that's going to be second string, comes on for the last 20 minutes, as a big powerful nuisance up top.
Yeah.
Same as Wood, when Wilson comes back, you'd expect Wilson to be first choice, and Wood's the guy you throw on for the last 20 minutes, or the odd cup game, or the odd game when he just needs rest when he's played every game for the past 8 months or whatever. Some players just aren't designed to play every game, week in, week out.
Yeah, and he's Antonio is like a form player as well. He gets on these runs where he scores like 9 goals in like 6 games, and he's just like prolific in that period when he's absolutely flying. But then he goes on patches like this where he doesn't score. He's also got his hamstring issues. He's had them consistently. So yeah, I agree. They may have been looking to try and actually improve on the first team, which makes sense, by the way. If you're going to go to transfer, you do want to improve the first team, but the secondary option is can we get another body in who's going to mean the drop off from Antonio to like Bowen up top, and like is people may want to play him in.
But even when you're playing like Europa League and you're battling on 2 fronts, you're playing every Thursday, Sunday pretty much. Like,
have they even got any kids or anything? I don't even... Because they never seem to bring anybody on in place for Antonio when he plays it. Or they just like, they bring like a Lanzini on and move like Bowen in that area.
Yeah, but yeah, I thought it's like, is there anyone in the reserve or the youth team? You can just give like one game, like just to rest Antonio for a week.
Yeah, they had that Sebastian Alla, didn't they? Last season, then he didn't do anything. But
one other point I was going to raise, which you mentioned there before you jumped on Antonio, is you got the midfield trio of Willock, Shelvey and Joelinton. We spent 40 million on Bruno Guimaraes.
Yeah.
He's had a total of 15 minutes.
Yeah.
From the 85, he's come on 87 and 90th. And I thought, how is this guy not getting a game? But then who would you drop when all 3 players are playing at the top of their performance? So bringing that extra players kind of push the level up. And
Willock especially for me. Willock's the one who's been like, right, I've got to play for my place now.
And Joelinton has been arguably our best player since Howe took over.
Yeah.
And Shelvey seems to have a different type of role, and I haven't seen enough of Bruno to say, is he going to sit back with Shelvey, or is he going to be one of the workhorses around him?
I think he's Guimaraes is a defensively minded player, but can do a bit of everything on the ball. So he should do essentially what Shelvey does for us. Because though Shelvey's not defensively minded, he'll sit a bit more. You don't see him get in the box as much as you see Willock because he hasn't got the legs for it. Mm-hmm. I think it's two facets to this. First of all, you don't want to change a winning team and how he's been reluctant to do that. And secondly, what sort of message does it send to the guys that you're asking to pull up the bootstraps for and say, right, you might not be here in like when the glory times come to Newcastle, because it will come in when the money gets spent.
5 years time.
Yeah, you might not be here, but we want you to do a job to keep us in the division. What sort of message does it say when you do play well? You get benched for the guy who's. So I think for me personally, it's the right move to keep them. Those guys are playing through merit. Mm-hmm. If Shelby was playing like he wasn't a Bruce, then I'd be absolutely clamoured for him to get hooked or. I've always wanted, even though Willock wasn't great at the start of the season, there was a player in Willock. I've always liked Willock. He's got 2 good feet. He's got an eye for goal. He's got loads of energy. He can win the ball back, and he's a good all-round number 8, like box-to-box midfielder. Mm-hmm. So I'd never wanted him out the team, but Shelby was the one who was looking awful. But how can you drop when they're playing well? So I think they're doing the right thing. I think West Ham. Do you think we're getting more of the top 4? Do you think they're going to flake, aren't they?
Unless they find form quickly. Tottenham's got a couple of games. Man United seem to be, it's like what you said, Man United always seem to find a way. Man.
Big game players. They were lying a few Bruno goals or a couple of bit Ronaldo.
Pogba one great game every 6 months, and
they'll.
If I between Tottenham, Man United, West Ham, Arsenal
got games in hand. That's the thing with Arsenal. They've got 3 games in hand.
We'll get them in a minute. If I was to pick one to rule out, West Ham would be the one I'd be ruling out over the other 3.
Yeah, agreed. To another potential top 4 challenger, a sneaky one who I said would be the middest of mid-table.
The Minster Mid.
Yeah, the middest of mid-table. If you could make a place in between 10th and 11th, that's what I thought they would be. But Wolves, I think they actually are making a fair run for the top 6 there.
They are a good team.
They are like.
I watched the highlights of the game, and everything they do, they just seem like a good team, and they seem together. We've spoke about a few times on the pod, like Wolves are just this, seems like a well-run club for the community. Even at the start of the season, remember when he hadn't scored a goal in the first 3 or 4 games, and the fans were like, it's fine, it's coming together, we can see what the club's about. They've launched their own music record label for like local talent. They just seem like a wholesome, good club. And
a good investment there.
Yeah. And they're coming good. Connor Cody seems like the dream captain. He was like,
isn't he?
Yeah.
And all that, they've got a lot of Chinese investment as well, which helps. They're not shy of a few quid.
Lots of some Portuguese players as well.
Well, I think most
that also helps.
Everyone but Bruno and Ronaldo. Yeah. But all in all, they've obviously got 2 class midfielders as well in terms of Neves and especially Martino. John Martino, I know he's getting on, but he's such class, isn't he? Mm-hmm. Never seems to waste a pass ever.
I don't think Ronaldo will get the 7 shirt there. That's probably why I wouldn't go.
Yeah, exactly. And then obviously Pedro Neto's just come back as well, which is a bit of a side note. But they're a well-run club, and they're a side that like kind of knows what they're doing. They have this sort of. Mm-hmm. What the difference is, Large has them either playing 3 or 4 at the back, depending on who they're playing, which they never did. They always played the same way under Nuno.
Nuno, almost forgot about him.
Yeah, he was class in the first 2 seasons. He got 2 7th place finishes in his first 2 seasons in the Premier League.
What a good manager he was for a couple of years, and what a bad 10-game run he had at Tottenham. And
now he's a bad manager. Probably can't get a job again, but it's nuts in it because he did an amazing job. He got them promoted.
What he should do is call Steve Bruce, find out how he goes from job to job to job. Do bother?
Yeah, because he's still not got a win under West Brom, has he? Sorry, West Brom fans, if you're listening. But
you've seen that meme that went viral where Steve Bruce is pulling that face where he hasn't won a football game since May, managed 2 clubs and got an £8 million payoff.
It's mad, isn't it? It's absolute bonkers. Oh, yeah, Nuno, get on the phone to his agent. What is he doing? But I think Wolves are solid defensively. Helps when they score 2 quality goals as well. Both the Podence goal and Neves' goal. Really, really good. Obviously, I think integral to Wolves, which obviously wasn't there last season, is Jimenez. He might be scoring the goals he probably was scoring maybe in the first couple of seasons, but he's integral. He's such a good number 9 off the ball. He's like what West Ham. If they just swap Antonio right now and put Jimenez in that side, they'd have a good run at the top 4.
Yeah,
that's like, I think Jimenez is such a good player. But Leicester just seem like they've got no luck, don't they? Like, I don't know. It just seem like they're nearly there every week, and then like, oh, Leicester, oh, no, they lost again. Like, it's harsh, innit? But
Yeah, because they're like, was it 11th or 12th in the league now and lost more than they won? And I was trying to put it down to what is it? I know everyone's like, they had a lot of injuries in defence. Fofana has been out injured for
Johnny Evans,
the full season. Evans, he came back for a couple of games and got injured against Newcastle.
Madison had his injuries. Vardy's a massive one, isn't he?
Someone was getting 2 years. But then, is this almost a blessing in disguise? Because at some point, Vardy's going to have to hand over the number 9 shirt and the manly rely on to somebody at some point.
Pass the torch, as it were.
Yeah. He's 34-year-old, 35-year-old.
I think his eyes getting on there, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
I thought Daka might have been sort of looking to take the mantle a little bit at the start of the season, because I thought Daka was, for some reason, which is always I found bizarre as well, Rodgers just doesn't fancy Iheanacho at all. Remember that end of last season where he just scored from everywhere? Every shot just went in, top bag. Like, he had a run of like 10 games where he just scored. And then I generally thought he'd start a bit more this season. It might be a little bit more of him and one or the other. But he just...
I remember thinking Daka would be third choice, and I was thinking his game time would be pretty limited, but
the start of the season, he was the one that they'd look to in Europe sometimes, and he started playing the odd game here and there. And I thought it looked good, and I think Daka does look good, but we realise how much they miss Vardy.
Yeah.
Like, that's just, we talk about Kane's efficiency, Vardy's efficiency. Like, it's not just efficiency of chances, it's like how he gets the chances. If Maddison breaks the line, Vardy's like, he's already there waiting for the ball, like, just down that little channel between, like, right centre back and right back. He just absolutely...
He loves it, doesn't he?
So good in there. So, yeah, I think you take him out of that side, and, yeah, they're going to struggle, but... and I think there's another thing. Obviously, Ndidi's been injured as well, which is another thing.
Mm-hmm.
Pereira's injured early on the season. Justin's been injured. They have had injuries, and I think some of the big players, Tillemans, this new contract thing, is he going to sign? Is he not going to sign?
But all this stuff, Jan, is just part of running a football team.
Yeah.
Contracts, injuries, players getting old.
Test for Rodgers, like to test to see how good Brendan Rodgers is as a coach. I think.
Arsenal 2, Brentford 1.
Yeah. Classic Arsenal, beat the teams that they're better than. They do it all the time, don't they?
Mm-hmm. Lacazette. Arsenal, because they're getting all their goals from the players that I seem to play in a 3, don't they?
Yeah.
So whether it's Martinelli, Smith Rowe, Saka,
Odegaard.
Yeah. Lacazette is seen, because his contract's run out as well. Arsenal's going to have to spend big to replace somebody up top.
Yeah, and they spent big on him, didn't they? Really, I think they spent 50 million on him, and then they spent more money on Aubameyang as well. But I like Lacazette. I think he's a good player, and I don't think he's as prolific as like an Aubameyang is.
But he's only got what, one short-term big deal left in him, maybe.
Yeah, but I think all in all, he's a good forward, and he does that more than Aubameyang would have. Aubameyang likes to play out wide anyway, but he allows other guys to play off him and stuff. I think he's a good player. I think he's good for them. He's like a Giroud kind of player. He's not like ruthlessly consistent at scoring goals, but I think when he's not on the team, they'll probably miss him. And Smith Rowe, Saka, they've got such a set of young
it's the future,
kids,
isn't it, that they're building with. But then what I want to mention to you is Brentford lost again.
I know, man. They're sliding there. They've got Newcastle next, haven't they?
Yeah, Newcastle, and they've got a tough runner.
And they've played more games.
Yeah. Brentford are getting dragged into the relegation, because after this game we're going to kind of talk about the relegation teams, which is happening. They're getting dragged in. Everton's getting dragged in. Leeds are kind of being thereabouts.
Yeah, the form of the bottom 3, but the bottom 4, really. I know. Norwich lost, but the last 2 games in a row. But it's Man City and Liverpool, and I think they give a good account of themselves in both games. I mean, they went 1-0 up against Liverpool, and they hit the post against Man City 0-0. I think so. I think everyone's stating a claim to say that they could actually get out of it.
Yeah,
and it could. I reckon, and I hope there is a shock. I hope there's like somebody gets dragged into it. It actually goes down. I do. I just I don't mind who it is. Like, just somebody.
As long as it's not Newcastle.
No, I don't think that's good. But as for Arsenal, 3 games in hand on Man United, who are in 4th, and they're 4 points behind them. 3 games in hand.
They have a shout for fourth, aren't they?
Yeah.
If they pull that off, Arteta, he must have had one of the biggest turnarounds. Because remember, us included, after game 3 or 4, like Arsenal's worst.
Game 1? When they got beat off Brentford, we were like...
Yeah, before the pod. That's still our first game was terrible. Yeah. We won't go there. But they've done Arteta's done such a good job changing that team from how it started to where they are now. And yeah.
Do you think he has to make top 4 to say that he's had to not say he's done a good job, but to sort of warrant the backing he's had? I don't mean the backing is in like the financial backing, but they've obviously spent a bit of cash. They spent big money. Some didn't really. It's all turned out well. Like Tomiyasu, Ramsdale, Ben White. They've all been Odegaard. They've all been good buys.
I think as long as he does top 6.
But this stuff like letting Ozil just get away for nothing, letting like Aubameyang just go because he fell out with them. I know they're big payers on the wages and stuff, but if he doesn't get top 4, surely like he's this season when like, no one wants to get top 4 because everyone's flaking. I think it's a massive missed opportunity.
He could get top 4, yes. Can he with the position in now? Yes, they can. At the start of the season, if he got top 6 with the sort of transitional, and I know he spent some money, but still it's a transitional team and club with all the young players.
Yeah.
I think if he does top 6, he's fine. Everyone's excited for him. He's going to get more investment. If he gets top 4, I think that's almost overachieving.
Yeah, you're probably right. Who's getting top 4? No, we've done them all, haven't we? Done all top 4?
That's it. But
who's...
I don't know. I don't know.
Go on. I've got £10 of my money that I want you to put at the bookies. Who you backing? West Ham, Man United,
not West Ham.
Arsenal, Wolves, Spurs.
Not Wolves. I'd toss a coin between Spurs and Man United.
It's just going to be the big ones again, isn't it? Every time someone flirts and gets, it's just the classic names get into Europe every single season, isn't it?
The battle for 4th is almost way more interesting than the top 3.
Well, Chelsea are just in no man's land. Chelsea are getting in Champions League, but they're not winning the league.
Yeah, so for me it's still City, Liverpool, Chelsea, but that 4th position, that's way more interesting.
Yeah, there's a lot of... I think I'd like Wolves to get there.
Oh, I'd love Wolves to do it. I just don't think they will.
No, I know they will.
I hope they're wrong.
Yeah, probably going to be Man United, isn't it?
Yeah, I really hope it's
not.
Man
United.
Anyway, let's go to a shake up, a shock result. A team that doesn't like losing, and they've only lost 4 prior to this. A team that's only won 1 game and doesn't like winning. But yeah, Brighton 0, Burnley 3.
Yeah. What a player Weghorst is, by the way. Forget Chris Wood.
What a steal.
Sell him for 25 million, pocket 13 million and get a £12 million striker.
He looked good as well, like his runs, his touch, like
touch for a big lad.
Yeah, he just looks
it's true though, isn't it? He has got a touch for a big lad.
He just looks like obviously he's massive, but he just looks like a handful, like he's constantly looking to make them awkward runs, like imagine being centre half having to look after him for the afternoon.
Yeah, when he has got good feet, he does make intelligent runs, and he's not like Beanpole 6 foot odd. He's like heavy 6 foot odd, like you'd know you in a game. Like, yeah, they they looked really good, didn't they?
Can Sean Dyche do it again?
Oh, honestly, didn't at the start of the season I was like, even like when Burnley were rock bottom, having not played a game since like 2 years ago, you just kind of they're just.
So let's look at the bottom 4. So Newcastle spent a lot of money, are on form, haven't lost in 6. Watford, as much as they haven't scored a goal until this weekend under Roy, a lot of pundits are saying if there's one man that can get a team rigid to stay up, it's Roy Hodgson. Sean Dyche's speciality is somehow putting together teams with duct tape that get out of relegation scraps.
No money.
Yeah, no money.
Just get a few players on tick and then...
Yeah, that's it. Finds players like playing for like the Red Line and stuff, like gets them on. Or you've got Norwich, where Dean Smith actually had Norwich won like 2 or 3 games, including a cup back to back.
And Sargent looks like a player all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think and then you add into the fact that Everton was still sliding.
So the 3 teams that's getting relegated, basically what you're saying is Everton, Leeds and Brentford.
Yeah, but Brentford is a worry because Brentford have played 25 games and they play Newcastle next, and that'll put Newcastle point ahead of them if Newcastle beat them, a point ahead of them, and because of the form of the bottom three, well, the bottom four, it's keeping the guys above them honest. No one is just going to cruise to safety. No one's like 25 points after 20 odd games and think, wow, we'll pick up here and there. Those three are down. Those three were down like 4 weeks ago. Like on Newcastle was one of them. Like you could see those four were down. It was one of those. Three of those four were definitely down.
Those 4 teams were getting relegated.
They were all that awful that the Premier League were changing the rules to get rid of them all. But it was 3 of those 4. But now it's genuine. If you're an Everton fan, you've got to be a bit worried because
you've got to be.
Watford have goals in them. Like they do have goals in Dennis and Sarr came back.
Yeah,
good assist from him. And Josh Kane. So there was goals in there. They've been awful defensively, but Roy's like absolutely loves a couple of banks of 4. Just loves it, doesn't he? The more banks of 4 he can have, the better.
He's got like 4-4-2 tattooed on his chest.
Yeah. The only one, like Sean Dyche is reading the Roy Hodgson manual.
Yeah.
On 4-4-2. But so then, and Norwich aren't looking like a bad side under
Dean Smith.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
So.
But then,
Burnley, obviously, the one they've actually what a massive result for that for them,
huge.
And they're unbeaten a few as well, aren't they?
Yeah, they've got a couple of draws and a win now.
Yeah,
or a draw and a win. But this is a game which surprised me, as you like to call them, Steven Gerrard's Aston Villa.
Steven Gerrard's Aston Villa.
0, Watford 1. I've only seen the highlights, so I can't comment too much on the game, but it's a game where you'd expect Villa to be straightforward, especially with the team. Steven Gerrard, like, this should be a game they're winning, right? Yeah,
he have Gerrard in the press conferences and stuff. When he sounds like he's a really demanding manager of certain, like, really high levels. I think he's figuring out like the Premier League's really difficult. Like you're not going to rule. No disrespect to the Scottish Premiership, but 70% of the games Rangers can turn up paying 80% and win. That isn't the case in the Premier. Like they have like if you're not bang at it.
Yeah,
you lose games of football and.
Would you remember when Ralph Rangnick first came over to the Prem, and his first 3 games was Norwich, Newcastle, and
Burnley or something?
Burnley.
Or like,
it was Burnley.
All bottom 3, wasn't it?
Watford had beat Man United, which lost all his job. So
it was the bottom 3, wasn't it?
Yeah. So his first 3 games were against them, and he said them 3 teams would not be like the bottom 3 in any other division.
Yeah.
I don't think he said it as an excuse. I think he genuinely meant it as a compliment to the league.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the Premier League is such a high standard regardless of what position you are right now.
Yeah, I think that's not that Gerrard obviously knows that because he played in it for like 20 years. So I don't know if Stevie, do you know this, mate?
I don't know if you know the Premier League well, mate, but
I think like the difference in you could roll out a team and generally Rangers would win games or be firm favourites, whereas it's just different. And this is probably indicative of what happened with Roy Hodgson. They'll get better and better at Watford, and they'll become more solid. And I wouldn't be surprised. I did say a couple of pods ago, like I wouldn't be surprised if they do survive. Like
Watford, man, that would be a turn up. That one if what?
Yeah, I do.
If Roy does
I want Watford to go down. Like
me too.
Just they're not very nice as a Saka manager left, right, and centre, and they look like a bunch of players that are just assembled and just like no one really wants to. No one could point to Watford on a map, but no one really like.
Yeah,
is that harsh? Is that?
No, I know what you mean. Like, I don't know.
Kuchka, I just didn't like him. I just don't like.
Is that the one that looks like the standard thug and everything?
Yeah.
But yeah, I know what you mean. For me, Watford, I've got no reason to like. I haven't got any friends that follow Watford.
Yeah.
If they do, they keep it a secret. But I don't like that whole sacking managers thing. Like consistently how they've done over a period of time.
Yeah.
So yeah, if I was to pick a team I'd like to go down, Watford probably would be the team.
At the start of the season, I wanted Burnley to go down because I was just sick of Burnley just being Burnley. But now I kind of want Burnley to stay up just for the banter of Sean Dyche just doing it again.
Yeah. But anyway, we've got 2 games left to go. We've got Palace Chelsea.
Yeah.
I think this shows you what's happening with Chelsea. That the fact that they've mentioned so low down. I know they just won the World Club Championship, which is a huge honour, but again, like, no one ever seems to really care about it.
I think it is a really impressive thing. Like, champions of the world in their club football. I just don't think. I think when you've got to beat like sort of to play Man City, you've got to play like De Bruyne and all these superstars, and you just don't see that. European football is the best football in the world, and there's so much money, and that's so all the better players that came from South America are now the best ones playing in Europe. So
it's harder to win the Champions League, but you only get in the World Club Championship if you win the Champions League.
Yeah. But you've already won the best thing.
Yeah, it's a weird one, but yeah. Anyway, more of a talking point. Lukaku, nobody likes on passes from.
I don't like when you have 7 touches or something.
Yeah.
Do you see Shearer's analysis on Match of the Day?
Go on.
He was saying that it's sort of a bit of both. Ball should be coming in areas he's making runs, but he also should be demanding it more. And I remember watching. I can't remember who it was now. I remember watching a game about 2 months ago where the ball was wide a few times and the fullbacks or whoever it was checking back in and not crossing, and he was going nuts. He was like going absolutely nuts to the early ball. He had run on his mark now, and he was getting ahead of it, and he was like sort of penalty area, 8 yards out, and just put it in on there. And now it just seems a bit like he's just not expecting it. He's expecting not to come in, so he's not really making the runs anymore. It's just.
Do you think Chelsea just kind of give up the fact that they're not going to win the Premier League and say we'll course them to. You see them teams which get to a game 33, 34, and like
on the beach.
They're like 9th in the Premier League and they're not pushing for Europa League. They're not in danger of getting relegated. You think like Chelsea's like, look, we're going to win plenty of games. We're not going to lose that many. We're going to drop to 4th. Like,
nah, I think you still got professionals with standards, and I don't think Tuchel will be happy with that sort of stuff. I just think
you can't say standards. You know how Lukaku's played most of the season, and the way you've just described him there.
I know, but is that not because what's the point in waving his arms because the ball isn't coming in? Don't know. Looking back now, do you think it was not a very good signing for them?
At the time, everyone was like, "This is the perfect sign. This is the one that."
Because he'd been bang at it.
I don't know. Let's ask the person who predicted that they were going to win the Premier League.
Who's that?
Well, there was 2 of us, Jan, and it wasn't me.
Yeah. Who do you see again?
I said Man City.
Yeah, you're going to be wrong as well. Liverpool. Yeah, I thought he was the missing piece, but you have to at some point play your striker strengths. Whether your striker is like not ideal for how certain players want to play and popping balls in around him and like tick-tack of football. That's what some players like Mason Mount and Ziyech maybe want to play and stuff like that. That's fine, but you don't have a strike. You've got Lukaku to put balls in the box for him. Yeah,
I agree. You spent 97.5 million or whatever.
And every time he plays awful, he goes down in price. And every time he doesn't play, he goes down in price even more. So like rotten hard place. If you don't play him, he goes down in price. If you do play him, he plays awful. Goes down in price.
I think Chelsea's too worried about price to be honest with you. But you're right though. Like if you buy a striker on that much money, you have to change the team to play the way that.
In some way, shape or form, you'd fit in at Burnley. Not that much.
I know. Sean nicely. 4-4-2. I've got you, son. The last game we've got your favourite manager Ralph.
Yeah.
Southampton 2 against Everton 0.
Just while you're digging me out for my Chelsea prediction, can you remember that time you said you'd rather have Steve Bruce over Ralph?
I don't think I said rather.
You did. You said earlier this season. You said Ralph Hasenhuttl looked like a beaten man, and you'd rather have. And I said, would you have him over Bruce? And you said no. Like a madman. I think that was a madman.
As a replacement was my reference. I didn't think they got over.
Nah, you said you wouldn't have him. But yeah, he's doing a class job, isn't he?
Yeah, really good.
And they look like an exciting team and a team that you like to watch. And they similar to when Brighton are on form, they look like a team more than the sum of their parts.
Yeah.
Like they've no real superstars.
Well drilled.
Yeah.
Know the style, know the way they want to play. Have a plan and stick to it.
Yeah, and they're attacking and they get about teams and they must be awful to play against. I think. Everton.
I think Frank's realising what a job he's got in hand here.
Yeah.
What would you do for him? Like,
I wouldn't play Dele Alli. Not that much.
No?
No. Don't know. 4-2, 3-1. I'd stick Allen and Gomez deep in midfield and I'd try and don't know, probably Richarlison will hate it and he'll sulk, but he's playing out wide. And then he plays wide, like sort of left. Van de Beek in the hole, and then probably play Wolby wide right.
What we got over Gray or?
Tomorrow Gray, actually, yeah. Yeah, who's basically held the season together for probably play the guy who's the only reason why they're not getting relegated. Probably play him over the Wolby who's done nothing. But yeah, I'd probably play that and try and get high at the pitch and press teams. It should be better than they are, shouldn't they? Like Norwich defensively, they're awful. Like Michael Keane and that, like robbing the living. I think the Premier League absolutely robbing the living.
A few years ago, he seemed like one of them solid Premier League centre halves where.
I think it's because he was sat alongside Jagielka, who was actually a solid Premier League centre half for a lot of years, maybe. But I
tell you one thing which made this result stay 2-0 and didn't make it look like absolute hammering as much as Newcastle fans won't like this comment is Pickford.
He's quality.
He pulled off some great saves and it could have easily been 4-0.
Pickford's a really good goalkeeper. He just loses his head when he plays in Newcastle.
Yeah.
But he actually a tremendous shot stopper. But yeah, it was actually a bit of a battering, wasn't it, really?
Yeah. But yeah, I think that wraps up because Everton, Southampton, I think we can talk about the demise when they go down, but we'll leave it at that, mate.
Yeah, that's it.
So, and now we have it. What a big week. What a big week for Giannis's Twitter account.
Huge.
What a big week for the Premier League, the title race, battle for fourth,
relegation
battle. There's been loads going on.
It was a really good week for the Premier League, wasn't it, in terms of just opening everything up and just...
Yeah, because if the likes of Newcastle picked up a point and no one else did, like the stretch goes to 5 and all of a sudden, like, but I know it's only 4 right now, but other teams get momentum.
Or if Leeds got a point off United and Everton won at Southampton, then suddenly the bottom 4 would look kind of adrift. But
yeah, because people talk about it being the mini league, but the mini league is getting bigger.
It is getting bigger. I saw a couple of tweets from people saying Palace in it, and you think of it, they're not. I don't think they are, but they're not that far away from it.
At what point you stop?
Exactly. Yeah.
We're Southampton back in it, like Wolves. But yeah, the Premier League's looking. Even the top 2 is coming back to life a little bit. So yeah,
so good that
the Premier League's a fun place to talk about again.
Yeah,
and if you've got us on YouTube, thank you very much. Make sure you like, subscribe this video, recommend a few friends. You can get us on Instagram, you can get us on Twitter, you can get Giannis on Twitter as well.
Yeah,
you can get us on TikTok.
Yeah,
you can get us on Facebook. Yeah, we are everywhere where you would not expect to find us for 2 dads. We are cracking down on social media like no one's business. So come and support us. Thank you very much for downloading. Make sure you subscribe. Enjoy your week of football and we'll catch you on the pod next week.